All right, welcome back. Now, justice conquered as former Grand Slam tennis champion Bob Hewitt's case came to an end. He was found guilty on 2 counts of rape and 1 of sexual assault involving girl students he coached tennis between 1980 and 1994. He received 8 years, but will serve 6 years in prison and is liable to a 50,000 rand fine. Now, the appeal is taking place today. For more on this, we are joined in studio by Dr. Shaheda Omar, Clinical Director at the Teddy Bear Clinic. Good to have you. Welcome to the program.
Thank you for having me, Leanne.
You know, I opened up by saying justice conquered. Was it really? Did justice really conquer in this case?
Well, if one looks at it from an emotional perspective, certainly I think we're quite angry about the sentence.
Yeah.
But looking at it from the criminal justice perspective, certainly justice delayed is justice denied. In this case, justice has not been denied. The victims have been acknowledged, they've been validated. So looking at the Minimum Sentencing Act, which was only enacted after 1997, this is a very good endorsement, prosecuted, taking into consideration that it was, after so many years. But I think what is very important here is that it clearly indicates that nobody is above the law, despite fame, fortune, title, age. Even in this case, we're looking at 75 years, and even the health situation, that nobody is above the law. It certainly gives permission to a lot of victims out there. It's an iconic case because what it speaks to women and children and men, that it gives permission to victims out there to break the silence, to come forward, and that justice, that actions do have consequences.
Indeed, indeed. But let's look at the consequences, though. We'll break it down. 8 years, he will serve 6 years in prison, liable to a 50,000 rand fine.
Per year.
Per year.
Yes.
Okay. This is now going to be appealed. Now, he's been found guilty on 2 counts of rape and 1 of sexual assault.
That is correct, yes.
Is this good enough? I mean, we've just come back, and I go on a side path here because I just want to set an example. We were on a trip to Mauritius. We were finding out that in Mauritius, if you are found guilty of rape, no negotiable. You serve 65 years in prison for doing a crime like that. Now we come down to this sentence. I'm not sure.
Indeed, Leanne, what you're saying is so critical because I'm just quoting Judge Bam when he said time does not erase the crime. And looking at the fact that the perpetrator in this case showed no remorse, he was quite arrogant about the abuse, about the rapes. It's certainly the punishment does not fit the crime. Yeah. And I think that is infuriating, and it also would deter many victims from coming forward because, it's certainly, there isn't an alignment to the situation.
Yeah. One looks at this and thinks, is it really worth it? Is it worth going down this road? Costly court cases, all my time, putting my name on the line, my life on the line. And is that some of the problems that you face on a daily basis?
Indeed, the stigma, the humiliation, the kind of responses, but also looking at, we said, time does not erase the crime, but time also does, the memories continue to remain, the trauma remains, and looking at all the traumagenic states that a victim struggles through, the powerlessness, the helplessness, the secrecy and the stigmatization that the victim has to live with is at a huge price and cost, not only to that victim but to society as well.
Yeah. Naming and shaming for the victim, does this offer some form of I suppose, reprise for them?
I'm not sure if it offers any kind of,
solace or something.
No, to a certain degree. It gives them an opportunity for closure, that at least they've been acknowledged and validated, and, somebody has believed their story. So yes, to that extent, the victim would have some kind of, or find some kind of solace in that.
Yeah, indeed. Just let's wrap this up, because as you sat down, my obvious question to you is, how are you doing? How are things? You said to me, as busy as always, in fact, too busy. And then you went on to say, I wish I didn't have a job, actually, but that's going to be impossible. Protecting children who go through sexual abuse on a daily basis, and it just seems to be getting worse. Why is this? Why are we not learning lessons? Why does our society still engage in such horrific incidences of rape and crime against women and children?
Well, certainly stronger action needs to be taken. Because there aren't strong measures in place, the message given to perpetrators out there is they can get away with it.
Yeah.
And it's not a deterrent. And I think this is a systemic problem. It needs to be addressed on different levels.
Indeed, indeed. And that's the reality, is a call out for a stronger punishment for these crimes. Yeah. All right, let's leave it there. Thank you for talking to us here on the program. The appeal of the sentence is taking place today in this particular case of the Grand Slam tennis champion Bob Hewitt's case, which, of course, yesterday he was found guilty on 2 counts of rape and 1 of sexual assault, and then sentenced to 8 years in prison, but to serve 6. So we'll find out what happens today. Dr. Shaheda Omar talking to us about this issue of rape and assault amongst young girls in our society. Again, thanks for joining us. Let's take a